You don't have a discipline problem. You have a clarity problem. How many times have you said you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. and you don't? How many times have you said you're going to invest and you don't? You're planning to stop spending money, but it keeps happening. Here's the truth. Discipline is not what separates winners from losers. This is. Discipline is actually overrated. And while I love to be somebody that seems disciplined, I realize I am human and I have human limitations. And my entire life, I built systems in order to help myself achieve the goals that I have. There's a really famous quote by James Clear: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fail to the level of your systems. When we talk within BudgetDog Academy of how to build an automated financial system, this is a system that we have built internally for ourselves and our family, and as well for 2,100 other families to maximize somebody's finances. The reason we get the best results out there in the world from a financial perspective is because we have a system. It's not because we're super special. And the second you understand that, and that becomes the revelation that it needs to be for you, you're going to start to win with your finances. We build that within BudgetDog Academy. If you want to book a call with my team, go in the show notes below. This is how you actually win with money. But discipline's reactive, guys. Think about it. You're fighting yourself mentally every single day that you try to create discipline. And while that's good to a certain extent, and we want to find discipline in our lives, we have to realize if we rely on discipline to have success, we're going to all fail. And we're going to, again, we're not going to rise to the level of our goals. We're going to fall to the level of our systems, like James Clear said. Willpower is draining. I mean, think about it. If you're under stress, you're fatigued, you're lots of decisions throughout the day, and you're trying to eat well, and you're to the end of the day, and you're stressed, and that your stress response is to eat junk, and your junk's sitting right there in your cabinet, you're going to probably go eat junk. And so I like to create systems, and I don't like to rely on discipline for everything, because most people are trying to white knuckle their way through their success, and they burn out naturally. They get upset with themselves. They start to self-sabotage. And the reality is they have the wrong expectations coming into what does success look like? How do you actually create success, especially around finances? And the second you learn how to do so, you're going to start winning with money. So one of the best examples I've had since I was a little kid, and you might laugh at this because it was in my national bestseller, The Roadmap to Financial Freedom. You guys can also get that in the show notes below. But when I grew up and I was, 5, 6 years old, when I was going to school, I would always literally, this is crazy, I would get a shower the night before. I would then make my bed, and I would take my my sleeping bag from underneath my bed, and I would then use that as my blanket. I would be fully dressed with my uniform for the next day. Now, that might seem weird, and that kind of is, but there's a reason I did that, and I didn't realize at the time what I was doing, but this is why I'm so good at building systems. It's like innate in me to think systems. When I was a little kid, I was thinking, okay, well, if I woke up, all I'd have to do at that point in time, eat breakfast, brush my teeth, and go out the door and leave for school. So therefore, I could be more efficient. I could be more time efficient. I'd have more time to do what I want to do. And that has bled into my adulthood in different ways of thinking systematically. And so every time I think about how can I improve my life, I think, how can I provide myself more time for me in purpose? And when I'm able to lean in with a lot more time into the purpose, I become a happier person. I become a more fulfilled person. And there's a lot of things that are within our control, and there's a lot of things that aren't. I'll give you an example. Our finances are. My daughter's syndrome, Dravet syndrome, wasn't something that we created. That was a gene mutation. But there are some controllable aspects of it, which we are actively doing. We talked about, and therapies and medications and naturopath type of ways, and just 24/7 supervision. I will digress there. It's something I can't explain to the average human mind of what we do on a daily basis. But we built systems on the controllable aspect of that. And so that's what we've done in every single area of life, and we continue to do. And so as you see the net worth go crazy, as you see the business build, as you see our family flourish, it's not because we're just more disciplined than you. It's because I know we're not disciplined, and we're just like you, and that we need a system just like you. And the quicker you understand that is the quicker you're going to actually see success, which is why I say You're not going to get anywhere with discipline and just, hard work. That's not going to work. It's going to work to a certain extent, but when you want to scale to something grand, you have to stop relying on discipline to win. I'm going to break this into what you actually need into 3 key pillars here. And I think this is really, really important. I kind of started off by talking about the environment that supports you. I was talking the other day of kind of a process in order to win. You start with your belief system. That belief system then changes who you believe yourself to be, which is your identity. That identity wraps around you and puts you in an environment that makes you like that identity that you see in your head, you envision. And that could be a good or bad environment based on the identity that you've wrapped around who you are as a person. And so good or bad, this is how people operate. So from the environment is the system that you build, which then gets you the result that you're trying to achieve. And so if you don't understand that simple framework, you need to hear it again. Your belief system drives everything after. And if you don't have your belief system right, your identity is going to be wrapped up in something that's probably a negative identity. Therefore, you're going to put yourself in bad environments with no systems, with no results. Reverse course, I start to believe differently. My actions, my thoughts, my beliefs all align with each other. So therefore, my identity might be, I'm a millionaire, or I'm a multimillionaire, or I'm a successful business owner. And as a result, I'm going to put myself in circles or environments of millionaires and successful business owners, aka BudgetDog Academy, where thousands of people that are trying to become financially free are sitting and talking about finance every single day, which is all you hear and all you put in your brain. What you feed your brain is what the output becomes. And so there's systematic approaches to how we build within that environment. And all of our students that are in that environment build that system and therefore get good results. It's a very simple framework, but until you start to realize that you're not going to succeed in the system that you're in or the environment that you're in right now, because your belief system's off, I can't pay off debt, or I can't become financially free. Therefore, I'm somebody that isn't financially free. Therefore, I'm not going to align myself with the right people in the right environment and build the right systems. Therefore, I get no results. It's very common sense, but it's amazing as I'm even talking through this that some people will still have this limiting belief and they can't get it out of their head. And until you do, you will continue to sit right where you're at. You got to think about this, guys. It's easier to build wealth when the environment rewards good behavior. So if you have automatic transfer set up, if you have no credit cards in your wallet, if you have friends that talk about growth versus just gossip, those are obvious things, but it's amazing that people don't realize how important those things are. Because once you're in the environment that supports you, you talk about things that help you succeed, like systems, like we talk about. Like I mentioned, once you're in the right environment, it builds the right system. And so we talk about this all the time. Success is a byproduct of removing decision fatigue. And so you don't need to think about manually going to invest or manually making this financial decision. It should already be automatically set up. And if you're manually doing anything financially, I guarantee right now you're failing. I guarantee you're failing. And I guarantee all my students are lapping you. And here's why. It's not because they're smarter, they're better. It's because they're relying on automation and systems, and you're relying on yourself. And yourself is not suitable to be successful financially. Neither am I. And I'm successful financially. It's because it's a system that I built. You should have everything preset. Everything should be scheduled. Everything should be default choice. And you should have frameworks to make decisions when those manual decisions do come into play to adjust the system at play. But you're always thinking system. You're not thinking manual decision here, manual decision here. You're thinking if there's a manual decision, where is part of that framework, decision-making framework within my system gives me my answer that's already been preset. So I don't have to think deeply about, hey, I just got a bonus that came in from my employer that I wasn't expecting. Where should I put that money? If you don't have a system that tells you that answer, you are failing. And you're going to make bad decisions because you're going to rely on emotion, you're going to rely on the here and now, and you're going to rely on your human brain that has a lot of biases. And so we want to build a system that lacks all of that and has pure automation and pure results. And that's how you're going to win. Let me give you a good example, guys. So I think the most important thing here is when I first wanted to start getting in shape. I worked out my whole life. I played high school sports, 3 sports, basketball, baseball, football. And I would always, obviously do 2 days in football, and we would always be practicing. We'd always be in the gym. But my diet when I was 16 was just eat whatever I want. And it wasn't that at the time it seemed like a bad thing, but as I got older, obviously that started to show. I was like, man, I don't want to be 12% body fat. I want to be 9% body fat like I used to be. How do I get back to that? It's that 3% difference is the food I was eating. And so I looked at everything around me and the system that I had, and there was no system. It was just eat whatever I want whenever I want. And therefore, when I was tired, when I was fatigued, when I had a long day, I made bad decisions. I was rushed. I went to Chick-fil-A when I shouldn't have gone because that was the quick, easy answer. So I thought about, how do I build a system in order to help me always eat healthy? Number one, I got all of the junk food out of my house. Like, we're talking anything remotely bad. So there's only healthy food in my house. Number one. So if I do make a bad decision, quote unquote, it's really hard to go up to the store and go get the bad food. It's really easy to go to my pantry. And so while I want to make sure I don't do that and eliminate that option, it's a fail-safe way of making sure I never eat bad, because I'm making the good things very easy to do and making the the bad things very hard to do. And so that's one way I did it. The other way was make sure I did my macros and I understood what macros I needed to attain the body weight that I wanted to and the muscle that I wanted to attain. So we built our macros based on our goals, and then we meal prepped to that. And we kept our meal prep very consistent, and we had the automated order through Kroger. So every single week we could meal prep every single Sunday with the exact same order. And we could, move things around, different meats, you get my point. But we knew specifically that this macro, if we hit these macros, we would be successful. And if we had these macros and 3 planned out meals, or for me, 5 planned out meals with snacks in between, then I knew I would be on target for what I needed to eat. And if I, for whatever reason, had a weak moment, I was in my pantry eating other healthy food. So it would be hard to gain like an incredible amount of weight eating, for example, a banana, or eating something healthy, a chicken breast. And so the way we've set everything up is through systems. And that was something that allowed us to change the way we ate. And so I always thought, like, man, I just never can get a perfect result like I used to have when I was 16 years old. And now I'm, 33, and life looks a little different. And by changing and identifying as somebody that meal preps, as somebody that's scheduled, it has allowed me to get back to my ideal spot. And that's a very easy way or easy example to explain this. And so that's one of, a very, very personal way I've done it outside of when I was a weirdo when I was a little kid. The other thing is clarity of identity. If you don't believe you're the type of person who handles money well, you'll always sabotage, right? It's obvious. What did I talk about? Belief leads to identity. Identity leads to environment. Environment leads to systems. Systems lead to results. There's a reason I talk about that. And so you're acting in alignment with who you think you are every single day. That's how humans act. That's how humans behave. And so understanding how humans are is the key to this whole thing, which is what I've mastered. I've worked with 2,100 people. A lot of this stuff has come from seeing how other people operate, not just myself. And so being able to rewire that internal script is going to be key, because that's who you are. I'm the type of person who tracks my spending daily. I'm the type of person that eats healthy. I'm the type of person that gets promotions. I'm the type of person that becomes the CEO. You start to identify with that. And as a result, you're putting yourselves in an environment that has good behavior that allows you to build systems to get those specific results. And it's a very simple process, but it would be amazing. It's amazing to me, at least, to see how people can't identify or see their own problem, or even understand this is a problem in itself. A lot of people are listening to this and probably bored, or probably think it doesn't apply to them. It probably does, just FYI. And number two, it probably is your problem. And so what I always like to do is I don't go for clickbait. I go for real. And this is what you need, whether you like it or not. And so emotion is the driver. So if you don't have emotion, you might sit there and do nothing. But I don't care, because I know this is how you get success and this is how you win. And so those that follow this roadmap, those that follow the roadmap to financial freedom, those that join BudgetDog Academy, they'll see financial success. We're the best financial program in the world. It's bar none. Every financial professional I talked to about our program has even said, you guys are 10 years ahead of the industry. You guys are getting results that are incredible because we have a system and a process that isn't out there. You're not going to go find a financial advisor. You're not going to go find somebody else that can do what we do. There's nothing out there. We're unique for that reason. And so you're not going to get results elsewhere. You're not going to do what we do elsewhere. And that's just a reality that you're going to eventually come to once you realize, hey, I'm not getting results elsewhere. I probably should join BudgetDog Academy because we are the best in the business. And so the biggest thing, guys, is that when you're thinking through these frameworks is, number one, just define who you want to be. Set up one system per week and then remove one friction point per week and journal this stuff. Like, don't just think about this. Put this in a journal. Come to this every single week, every single day. Spend time thinking about this. And that's even part of a system in itself, is having a defined schedule to focus on building systems, to remove a friction point, to define who you want to be. That's important. So what I will say is there are many ways that you can slice and dice systems. Everybody works differently. But the thing is, you build automations in everything that you do, so that you can have time back for what matters, so that you have a fulfilled life. And so if I flipped your mindset today, hit subscribe, join the podcast, listen every single week. And also on top of that, what system I want you to add in, I want to take you through your first step today. What system could you set up right now that removes the need for discipline? Put that in the comments below. If you're listening this long, you're real about this, you're really going to get results. If you've already skipped, you probably aren't hearing this and you're probably not getting results. So for all the views that haven't listened to this long, rest in peace. I hate to say it, but it's not going to get you anywhere. If you've actually listened this long, you've taken the proper steps and you've added what system you can do right now and you've taken action, you're going to be probably really successful down the road. And I'm always here to help and serve you guys in any way possible. Again, in the show notes, if you're looking to read the national bestseller, it's there. If you're looking to join a community where 2,100 plus other families and counting, actually when I film this, it's probably going to be plus hundreds of people from then. If you want to join that community and take this to the next level and fix your finances, do it. Stop wasting your time. You're just wasting time, which costs you money. And I will be here next week to talk about some other very valuable stuff that hopefully gets you past the humps that you're dealing with, because that's what this podcast is intended to do. It's not just to waste your time with meaningless information. It's taking this stuff and applying it to your life once and for all so that you can make a real change. And I hope everybody heard this loud and clear, takes action, and we will talk soon.
You've been listening to Money on My Mind with your host, Brendan Schlagbaum. If you found value in today's discussion, share it with someone who could benefit from it too. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already, so you never miss a money mastery tip. Until next time, stay passionate about your financial journey and keep taking bold steps towards your money goals.